Hi there, I have prepared another pick a card for us. This is regarding how that particular person views you, how you make them feel, and what traits to lean into to become the best version of yourself. So, how I typically do pick a cards is I think of the numbers 1 through 3, and whichever number floats into my mind is the one that I select. But we all think differently, so if you're more visual, of course, you can look at the numbers and whatever pops out, or the stones or the colors of the numbers, and whichever one comes into your mind first should be your selection. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll talk to you in your pile. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hello, pile 1. If you chose number 1 or this stone, these are going to be your messages regarding how that specific person sees you and how you make them feel, and what traits you can lean into to be the best version of yourself. So how this person views you is the Page of Wands. And that is a very exciting energy. I love the Page of Wands energy. You're seen as very adventurous. You could be really inspiring to that person. You're very energetic, charismatic, creative. You could also be a visionary. This is like sparks of inspiration. You're really uplifting. It's like a childlike joy almost. And I also feel like this person views you as really, you could have a really strong love for clothing, or you're really good at styling yourself. This person this page is just dressed really, really nice. He's got a very lovely outfit on. He's layered with these gorgeous fabrics. You could have a strong attention to detail when it comes to fashion, or you could be really knowledgeable when it comes to fashion, or this person sees you as someone that's really fashionable and dressed really, really nicely. You care about your appearance. Look at this charming hat that this page has on. Just a very uplifting energy, really exciting. They see you as a very adventurous, inspirational kind of person. The page is also very curious, full of potential. It radiates a youthful energy and an enthusiasm and a thirst for adventure. So that's how they see you. Regarding how you make them feel, so the Ten of Wands, when you look at that picture, he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. This person could really feel like they have, first of all, they could have very intense feelings for you. They could really want to please you, which is why they feel that Ten of Wands. They could also feel like there's a lot of like emotionally intense feelings that feel kind of like they're demanding, attention, or you could make them feel like they have a lot to carry. They could feel very committed to you. They could feel like, they have a lot that they have to prove to you, or something about the dynamic makes them feel like they really have to take care of you in a sense. And the way that that Ten of Wands is being carried could be carried in a different way, but all in all, for feelings, it's basically kind of feeling maybe responsible for you, or feeling like they have to really work at the relationship in some way. There's a lot of effort being put in there. And then the King of Cups, as what traits you can embody in order to be the best version of you. So the traits of the King of Cups is he's very emotionally balanced. He's compassionate and caring. He's very diplomatic and wise. He's devoted and loyal. He's very creative and intuitive, but in a very mature sense. He's very grounded. So those are all the traits that you could embody in order to be the best version of yourself for this particular relationship dynamic. And it's all about he's just got a very calm sense about him. He's able to kind of calm his nerves. He makes decisions in a very calm way. He's just very mature and diplomatic in his thinking. Also, I wanted to just talk about some of the other cards. Family could be very important to you, Group 1, or that's how these people could be viewing you, whomever chose this pile. I feel like you guys are really good at shape-shifting, or you're really good with people. You're able to make people feel comfortable in social settings. You've got the cycles card here, so there could be something about your life that you feel you really notice cycles that develop in your family or in your previous generations of your family. Perhaps you've noticed cycles, or you've noticed cycles in your own life, how things, Like this is things that happen where you're like, oh, why does that keep happening? Or something along those lines. I also feel like you guys are really connected to nature. You love animals. You're really protective of animals. You could be an environmentalist where you're really thinking about the environment with the things that you choose, or you could be someone that's really concerned with like recycling or making sure that your yard is nice. You keep a good environment for animals in general, and you're really, perhaps you volunteer to take care of animals, or you do what you can to make animals comfortable. You've got this balance card. You could have Libra in your chart. You don't have to, but you definitely could with that sense of style as well. It really comes through. But this is all about making sure that you are, doing things in your life that really suit you. So this is about kind of taking a look at the things that you're a part of or the things that you're getting into and making sure that they're in alignment with who you truly are. So you could be someone that really takes account of like what you're chasing. Like you want to make sure that it's in balance with who you are. And this could be in regards to anything. You could be making sure that things are actually really balanced in your life with regards to home and family and work, those kinds of things. Um, Also, the inspiration of this card is about running towards something may chase it away. So be wary of being deceived by your own desires. That's part of the fable in that card. But I think this card's more about keeping things balanced in your life. You also have this whale card, which is all about, it's a very inspiring card. Like when I look at this, I just think of like coming out of the ocean and taking a breath and coming into that sunlight. And the way that the whale must feel like kind of coming up out of the ocean, jumping into the sunlight and like crashing back into the ocean. So it's like taking a deep breath and like taking I wanted to say plunge, but like just jumping out of that water into the fresh air. It's kind of like a, a beautiful feeling in my mind. That's what I would think. Also, you've got this discovery card. You guys could be on a path of like discovering who you truly are, or that could be something that's really important to you, making decisions that are in alignment with who you really are, discovering your pathways forward, those kinds of things. The page energy can be very like young at heart. So however this person is seeing you, they could see you as someone that has like, you have time to discover who you truly are. And I feel like, with this energy, they do feel a sense of responsibility to you, no matter what kind of relationship this is. They definitely feel like they have to almost like come correct to you, like they're perhaps when they interact with you, they take an account of how they may be making you feel. They could see like that you almost like demand a lot from them. You may not even realize that you do that. Maybe it's because they try to impress you or something along those lines. Um, but like I said, they definitely feel like this almost like a commitment to you where they feel like they have a lot to carry for you, um, because they want to do it. It's like it's a very interesting dynamic there. I want to, before we wrap up, I want to get some Spirit's advice for you with regards to whomever you're asking about. What is Spirit's advice for pile one regarding this person? What is Spirit's advice for pile one regarding this person? Yeah, I feel like family is really important to this group, and clothing. Give it to God. Take a deep breath, and on the exhale, release the situation to God for healing and answers. Spiritual or religious community. Join with like-minded people for friendship and increased spiritual growth. These are all Spirit's advice to this group. Sensitive emotion. Times of heightened emotions and sensitivity call for extra self-care and gentleness. And then ready to love again. You've healed from the past enough to open your heart to new love. So those are all Spirit's advice. I hope this reading was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Hello, pile 2. If you chose number 2 or this beautiful stone, These are your messages. So this reading is all about how someone views you, how you make them feel, and what energies you can lean into to be the best version of yourself. So how this person views you is the Eight of Wands, and that is a very fast-moving energy. Maybe you guys are very fast. Maybe you guys are really busy. I also wanted to make mention, there's no person in this card. So perhaps they haven't seen you physically in a while, or they want to see more of you, or something along those lines. Like, this reminds me of what's missing in this card is the person. So I just wanted to make a mention of that. That's not going to be for all of you, but maybe this person wants to see more of you or something along those lines, because there's no person in that card regarding how they view you. They also probably think you're a very quick thinker. You probably think well on your feet. You're probably very communicative. This is all about communication, swift communications. You're probably really good at communicating. You could even be very goal-oriented. These arrows are shooting towards something, so you probably have something that you're working towards. You could tend to be a little bit impatient or restless. You don't have to be, but because you like moving so fast in their mind, they could think of you as perhaps, that you get a little bit impatient or restless, or you like fast communication maybe. You're really optimistic and enthusiastic in their mind, and you could always be on the go. You're definitely somebody that's busy. They don't see you sitting still for long. You're really expressive and animated in the way that you communicate. You could even be a trailblazer. Like, you could be someone that jumps into new ventures easily. You like to travel, perhaps. You could be really moving forward quite swiftly in the ways that they view you. So that is how they view you. The way that you make them feel is the Seven of Pentacles and the Hermit card. So they're very introspective sometimes when it comes to you. Like, they go within to understand their feelings. They could be trying to assess, they're trying to actually assess how you make them feel, or maybe they're looking at the investment they've made in the relationship with you. This does not have to be love, by the way. I didn't specify that when I was pulling the cards, so I just want to put that out there. They could be really just trying to reflect. This, the Seven of Pentacles is all about patience, reflection, and looking at a long-term investment. And when someone makes you feel that way, you may be feeling hopeful with anticipation, like when we plant seeds and we're waiting for them to harvest. That's something, like a farmer looks at their vegetation with like a hopeful anticipation, hoping that things come to fruition the way that they've anticipated. Their fruit's going to, or their seeds are going to bear fruit, those kinds of things. They might be really emotionally invested in you, like they've put in effort emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, and now they're kind of waiting to see if it's reciprocated, and they're cautious but optimistic. The Hermit card is all about really going within. They're self-reflecting. They're kind of looking within, maybe even seeking spirit's advice here with this light in this lantern. The Hermit card can be very spiritual. They could be kind of going within and feeling like this connection could be part of their larger soul journey. There's also maybe something that they're trying to kind of gather from their own soul, like thinking about things on a deeper level regarding you. So that's really nice. What I pulled this saying, Spirit, what else do you want pile 2 to know about themselves? You got submerged. You guys could really hold your emotions within, and people don't necessarily see them. When I see this submerged iceberg, maybe you have a large depth of your emotions that you kind of hold within. And also, you got the sexuality card and the discover your life purpose card. So you guys could be on a journey to learn your, discover your life purpose, or maybe that's what your goals are set on. Maybe you have some really high goals that you aspire to, and they know that about you. Maybe you're a high achiever. Maybe you kind of hide some of your goals. Maybe you don't really talk about them as much. You also got the sexuality card. This is all about empowerment. And this card could be about, you could be healing some sexual wounds. That could absolutely be part of it. releasing guilt or trauma that doesn't have to apply to all of you. Our sexuality is also a creative life force. So this could be saying that, you're working on creative ventures. This also could be about intimacy and connections. You guys could be yearning for a deeper intimacy. It doesn't have to be. But also, you could be walking away from things that don't serve you. I noticed in this card how she is kind of turning her back on the snake at the bottom here. So all those themes could be involved in these cards. And these were just what does Spirit want you to know about yourself. So those came up. You also could be very beautiful and alluring, and people probably tend to look at you and notice your beauty. You could have really beautiful features. Also, what traits that you should lean into to become the best version of yourself. And this doesn't necessarily relate to this person. It's in general, because when I pull this card, it's literally just me trying to say, what traits could this person lean into more in order to become the best version of themselves. And you've got the Seven of Wands. So perhaps sometimes you should be kind of focused on setting boundaries, and kind of this person's kind of holding off these other wands here. So maybe sometimes you do have to kind of say no or set stronger boundaries with others. You have to kind of stand your ground a little bit. This is all about a resilient, assertive person who fiercely protects what they've earned or what they've created or what they've done. And it basically, this card comes after the success of the Six of Wands, and it signals the need to kind of like defend your position against any challenges or competition or criticism. So perhaps you have to be a little bit more firm with others. That was kind of what I was gathering from this. And he jumped into action really quickly. Perhaps that's a message too. And the reason I say that is he's got two different shoes on. So perhaps sometimes you have to kind of jump into things really fast. I don't think you guys have a problem with that, because you are viewed by this person at least as the Eight of Wands. So that's a fast moving energy. Some of the other things are impartiality came up. And this is all about looking at things from other people's perspective. So perhaps you're really good at doing that. This card reminds me of balance as well. So maybe you guys are really balanced in the things that you do. Help from above is here. That's lovely. You guys are really protected. And Spirit is very protective of you, and they help you through things, whether you know it or not. So you've got help from above here, which is really lovely. And you've got the rebirth card at the bottom of the deck, which I love. And then creation here, which creation was talked about a bit from this card. So you guys could be really creative. Again, I think you guys are really beautiful. This card reminds me of beauty. You guys could be going through a rebirth, perhaps. Or that's maybe where you're headed in life, is just kind of rebirthing a new you coming out on the other end. Just very beautiful. Patience is highlighted here in regards to pretty much everything. I want to pull one more card for pile 2. Spirit, what do you want pile 2 to know about themselves? Pile 2, if you guys are traveling or going on a trip, just make sure you try not to forget things. Just make sure that you're kind of like really focused on the things that you need to take with you if you are going on a trip. Nutrition is here. Perhaps you guys are really make healthy choices, or this is a message to make really healthy choices with what you put into your body. And also make time for play. Like make time for things that make you laugh. Make time for things that are really fun for you. Also, out of my cards that I pull, you got meditation and suntan oil. You guys could be going maybe on a trip, and make sure that you protect yourself with sunscreen and things like that. You also got the gossip card. So I don't know if you guys engage in gossip or if people gossip about you, but the gossip card did come up around you. So perhaps people talk about you, like if you are going through a glow up or you're doing some things that create a buzz amongst people, that can create some gossip. This is just a card where, when it comes up, gossip is basically, to me, it's more about the person that's doing the gossip than the person being gossiped about. So regardless of where you fall, I don't think you're doing the gossip. This might be people that are kind of talking about you because maybe they're wondering what's submerged, or they're kind of curious about what you're doing. You could be moving real fast in whatever you're doing, and people are just wondering what's going on in your life. So those are your messages, pile 2. I hope you enjoyed this message, and I will talk to you soon. Hello, pile 3. If you chose number 3 or this stone, these are your messages regarding how this person that you're thinking of views you, how you make them feel, and the traits that you can lean into to be the best version of yourself. So how they view you is the Hermit card. So perhaps you are a bit withdrawn right now, or you're very to yourself. Maybe there's a little bit of a break in communication right now, because the Hermit card is all about being withdrawn, kind of going within, and perhaps you are doing that, but this is also how they view you. So maybe you guys are not speaking at the moment, or you've needed some time, some space to yourself. You could be on a spiritual journey. This is somebody that is very spiritual as well, and has a lot of wisdom, inner wisdom. Could be hearing spirit, could be very very influenced by spirit. And then how you make them feel. They've got the 7 of Wands and the 8 of Pentacles. This kind of came out reversed, but I don't take reversals when I do these types of readings, so I'm going to kind of interpret these in both ways. This person could feel very defensive of their work, or the amount of time that they spend working when it comes to the relationship they have with you. That's not going to be for every one of you. They could also kind of feel like they need to kind of set boundaries, or they have to draw lines in the sand, or sometimes they have to defend their ideas or their ways of thinking. They also could be feeling a little bit defensive about the amount of work that they put into the relationship with you. If they kind of want to put a lot of work in to the relationship, and maybe you don't want them to do that, perhaps they feel like they have to kind of defend their efforts or something along those lines. Since it's a pick a card, it could go either way, really. But the way that, and you'll know, if you're listening to this, you'll know. So, perhaps this person feels like they have to defend the amount of time that they spend working on things, or the amount of time that they dedicate putting effort towards the relationship, or specifically about their actual work, their literal work. Perhaps they have to feel a little bit defensive about the amount of time that they put into work. Also, when you see this combination, you could maybe make them feel like they have to step up, stay focused, earn their place in the relationship, perhaps. The 8 of Pentacles is all about building something meaningful and real. So maybe they do feel like they are a little bit defensive about that, or they have to protect that in some way when it comes to you. That's kind of how you make them feel. The 7 of Wands is all about fighting for something meaningful. So sometimes they feel like they have to fight for certain things, or you may make them feel inspired to kind of take a stand, either for themselves or for the relationship, or the growth of the relationship. Sometimes they may feel challenged emotionally or intellectually by you. Sometimes they may feel like they have to kind of be on guard. Spirit wants you to know you are lovable. You got this card here. You are lovable. Love who you are, as you're created perfectly. Everything about your true self is beautiful. So Spirit wants to know you are definitely lovable. And the traits that you can lean into to be the best version of yourself. You've got the 5 of Wands, and the traits in the 5 of Wands is all about being a little bit more competitive. Maybe you need to kind of understand your worth and be willing to kind of throw your hat in the ring. And it's a very competitive nature, very energetic. Maybe right now you don't necessarily like group environments, but this is kind of saying this energy itself is all about like being within challenging environments and thriving in it. So maybe this is telling you that you have to be a little bit more comfortable with conflict or tension or a clash of ideas. So yeah, maybe you need to be a little bit more competitive. Maybe you need to be a little bit more assertive, or you need to be more passionate about the things that you're working on sometimes. You've got isolation and enlightenment. Isolation wanted to fall to the ground, so I don't understand that. You guys, maybe you don't necessarily always want to be isolated, but when you are in isolation, I do feel like you guys work on enlightenment or spirituality. Maybe you do pray when you feel like you need to. Maybe sometimes praying could help you feel more connected to spirit. I feel like you guys are very enlightened in this pile. You're very spiritual, very enlightened. Go with the flow is here. You also got entrapment. So I don't know if sometimes you feel like maybe you feel like you have to be isolated for some reason and you don't always love that feeling perhaps, or maybe you're kind of isolating yourself in order to be a bit more spiritual at the moment. Maybe there's something that you're trying to learn or you want to gain inner knowledge about yourself, and Spirit's telling you kind of go more with the flow. You do have new moon and promise here, so this could be about a romantic relationship, or perhaps you're seeking a romantic relationship. And you also have this wild card here. So when this card comes up, this kind of tells me kind of go more with your whims, or do more that makes you feel happy. You know, when you're a child and you kind of run through the yard and you forget about your worries, you can let yourself be you. That's kind of what this card reminds me of. Like, she's doing something that some of us may think, oh gosh, that looks a little bit scary. But sometimes we have to go out, you know, on a whim and kind of be more childlike, or, you know, find our passions again. Also, you got peer pressure at the bottom of the deck. Don't let others coerce you into a decision. You know in your heart what's the right choice. So just don't succumb to peer pressure. Don't worry about what others think. Don't compare yourself to others either. And underneath that is release all anger. Don't give power to negative words by saying them. Speak from your higher self and make your communications peaceful and loving. I want to get a couple more cards for you guys. What is Spirit's advice for pile 3? What is Spirit's advice for pile 3? Thank you. Divine life purpose is here. Trust the signs and your inner guidance which are leading you to fulfillment. And then unconventionality. Your unique qualities are an important part of your life purpose. It's okay to feel and be different from others. You know what? Now that I'm getting these, maybe sometimes this person feels like they have to really fight for your attention from work, or maybe you guys are focused on your life purpose at the moment, and sometimes people feel like they have to fight for your attention. Maybe that's just for a few of you. Like, this is gonna be different for each of you, but you'll know which message is actually meant for you. What are some more messages for pile 3? Breathe in. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, maybe you do need to isolate a little bit, take a break in order to kind of hear your inner voice. Maybe the Hermit card is kind of how you should be moving forward at this time. Maybe there's something that needs looked at in your life, and you feel like you kind of have to go within in order to do that, perhaps to make some decisions in your life. I'm going to get one more card for this group. Spirit, what do you want to tell group 3? What do you want to tell group 3, Spirit? Starlight, you have been upset in the past by the actions of others, but now is the time for you to say enough and live your own life. And then now is the time to start your life development plan. If you are not sure, just ask the angels for guidance. So those are your messages. Prayer could be significant for you guys. Spirit wants to come in and help you. They want to be able to enlighten you. I do feel like this group is enlightened, or you understand that Spirit exists and wants to be there for you. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that was helpful. And take care, and I'll talk to you soon.